Hey, hello and welcome back to today's video. My name is Patrick and I'll be taking through this project that you are creating here. And the idea that I have in my mind is creating a project, or rather creating a calculator. So what you're creating is a simple calculator in Scratch, and what our calculator will be able to do, it will be able to do 4 mathematical operations. It will be able to add numbers. It will be able to divide numbers. It will also be able to multiply numbers, and it will be able to take away a number from another number. And for our case, we just use 2 numbers that you are working with. And then what it's going to do, the project is going to ask the user or whoever is going to be using our project to enter the number, both the numbers and then the sign. In this case, I'm talking about the mathematical sign, be it the plus, be it the minus, be it the multiplication or the division sign. And depending on which one he has entered, then the computer will be able to find the answer for the problem that we have. So in that scenario, we have to create what you call the variable, or some containers or some placeholders that will be keeping that data that the user is going to enter. So for you to be able to create variables, you're going to go under the block categories, and you're going to go down until you reach where you have variables, and you are going to click make a variable, and we are going to start with the first one, which I'm going to call num1. In this case, you can call your variable any name that you can think of. It can be X, it can be Y, it can be A, it can be Z, whichever name you think of. But you have also to remember there are some words that you cannot use. So we have some words in Scratch that are reserved for a specific meaning they cannot be used to mean anything else. For example, under this block we have the set, we have change, we have hide, and others. When you go to motion, we have like go, we have turn, we have glide, we have point. So those are what we normally call the reserved word that cannot be used to mean anything apart from what they are meant to mean in any programming language. So we go to creating the second variable. So you make a variable, you click there, then you go to write num2 as my second variable. And the reason why I'm using so that it can be easy to know that you are entering number 2. So you say okay. Then after entering number 2, the next one will be a sign. So the sign that you'll be using, and you're going to say okay. Then the last one will be the answer. When those numbers are added or divided, the answer that the computer is supposed to generate. So you're going to see that all variables have been assigned to 0. Then from there, we are going to start coding. So you're going to go to this block here under the event block category, and this one is where you're going to find these kind of shapes, and this one they normally appear at the beginning of a project. So if you look at those shapes, they cannot be placed anywhere within a project apart from the top. And this has to do with what we call the syntax, something that those in grade 8 or grade 9, that is under the CBC education system, something that they've covered under the terminologies used in visual programming. You have what you call the syntax, and these are the rules that are going to govern how you write a program. One of them being that an event block can only appear at the beginning of a project, and also if you are to create a program, you cannot place your code block like this. So they meant out to work, so they're supposed to be joined together to create a project like that. So let's continue. So once you do this, we are going to set these values to 0, so that even if you run your project and then you get a different value. It should, once you click again, it should start with zeros. So the first one you get to assign is an answer, then you go to num1, assign to 0, then you go to num2, we are going to assign it to 0, then you go to num3, and you we are going to assign, and you're going to assign them to 0. And I want to see if this one you have to change to 1, and then you click on this one, you're going to see that when you click on the green flag, the answer will be 1. So this one, it has to be 0. Then from there we are going to go straight, and then we are going to go to telling the user what to do. Remember, you are creating this calculator for the user, who will be able to get a message, and then he'll be able to enter a number or a sign, and then from there you'll be able to get the answer. So still in grade 9, we have what we call the input and output statement. And an input statement is where you find that the user is supposed to enter something. So the computer is going to prompt or to request the user to enter something, while the output, the user is going to get some information from the computer. So with this one, for the output, you go to the looks block categories, you click on this one, and you pick this block that you have here. So what you're going to say is you're going to tell the user enter the first number. So the user is going to get a message, enter the first number, and then for him to be able to enter the number, then you require an area where you can be able to put a number. So you're going to go to sensing, and you're going to ask for the number. So if you look at this box, it says what is your name, but because we don't need a name, we need a specific number. So you're going to go to variable, and then you're going to take num1, and you're going to replace what is your name with num1, like that. Then once you have entered the number, where will the number go? And it's good to note that once you enter a number, you're supposed to press enter on the keyboard to continue. So what you're going to do, you're going to set the number that you have received. So this is num1. You're going to set it to sensing, to the answer that has been entered by the user. So with this one, if you click on this one, and then you enter a number, let's say 2, like that, and then you enter, or you press enter on the keyboard, you're going to see that your number is going to appear under num1. So after doing that, we go to the second one, and what you're going to do, you're going to go to the look, and you're going to take this block. We are going to change like you have done. So you're going to say enter the second number, and this one you can make it like 1 second to may waste a lot of time. Then you're going to go to sensing, and you're going to ask for not the name but for the second number. So you go to num2, like that, and then we are going to assign, we're going to set num2 to the answer that you are going to receive. So num2, then you go to sensing, and if you look at this one, you can be able to know where to get a block depending on the color of these blocks that you have. So each block has a specific color. Looking at the circles that you have here, and then you look at the code, you can be able to tell where you're supposed to get a block of code. So if you click on this one, and then maybe write the first number is 200, and then the second number is 200. So you're going to see that those two numbers will be assigned a value. Then from there, the next thing that you're supposed to do is you're supposed to ask for the sign. So like we did in the last time, you don't have to do a lot of action. Computer should make your work simpler, not hard. So what you're going to do is you're going to right click here, you duplicate, and then you're going to put your code there. And what you're going to do, you're going to remove second number, because now you're asking for the sign. And what you're going to do is that you're going to go to operators, or you're going to go to variable, sorry, and then you're going to ask for the sign, and you're going to set this one to sign to the answer that you're going to receive. So far so good. We now have both numbers. This can be able to enter both numbers, and then the computer is going to assign those two numbers and also the sign to the variable that you have created. So the next step is we are trying to now do the calculation. So in this one, because we have signs, what you're going to do is that we are going to use a condition or the conditional statement, and we are going to check if is the sign a multiplication, or is a sign addition, or is a sign a division, or is it a takeaway. So you're going to go to control, and what you're going to use, you're going to use the if then block. So you take this block and you're going to check. For you to be able to check, you go to operators. So anything to do with calculation and comparing values should be under operators. So you click on this one, and then you're going to take this block, you put this block, and you're going to find that this block is going to fit here. Whatever you're using the block, is good to look at the shape of that block to see if it can be able to fit wherever you want to put that block. And what you are checking is, we are checking the sign. So you go back to variable, and you're going to check, is our sign a plus? So if our sign is a plus, then what you're going to do is we are going to add numbers. So you're going to set our answer to, you go back to operator, and you're going to take the addition block, and we are going to go to variable. So what we are adding is num1 times plus num2, like that. Put it there. After doing that, the next one will be also, we go to control again, then we take the if then block, and we are going to compare or to check if the sign entered is maybe a multiplication. So you go up to variable, you take a sign, and then we are checking, is it a multiplication sign? If yes, then you're going to set our answer to the first number times the second number. So you're going to go to operator again, and then you're going to take the block for multiplying, you put it there, and what we are multiplying is num1 times num2. So num1 times num2, like that. So we continue with the other one, that is for addition, division, and also for subtracting. So we are going to go back here, we go to control, we go to if block, then we go to operators, we are going to check this one again, we are going to go to variable, we are going to take sign, is it a minus, like that. If yes, you are going to set our variable to maybe num2 minus num1, and this one can be in any order. Remember, you're just creating a simple calculator, not something very serious. So it can be, so you go to operator again, and then you're going to take the one for subtracting, and what you're going to minus is num2 minus num1, like that. Then we can copy this one like we did. So you're going to duplicate this one, and you're going to check, is this one a divide, and this one you're going to remove this one. So you remove this one, you go to operators again, and then you're going to take one for dividing, and you're going to take num2 num1 divided by num2. So far so good. So if we check our calculator now, when you click on this one, and then you put the first number like 25, then the second number like 5, and you want to multiply, it should be able to give you the correct answer. Then when you click again, then you enter the first number like 25 again, and then you have 5, and then you want to minus, you minus, it should be able to give you like that. Then you click again. When you try to maybe divide a number, maybe let's say 25, and then we have a 0, and then you want to divide. So we are going to get our first problem there. So we have an error in our program, or what we call a bug in programming, and we're going to see how we can be able to solve this one. So remember, this one is not an answer, and in any case it's not good practice to define numbers with 0. So we are going to go to control, and we are going to use the if then else, because we have two conditions. If the first condition is if the user is going to enter a number that is a 0, so what is going to happen? That is the first condition. Then the next condition, if the user is going to enter a number that is not a 0. So with this one, we are going to take this block away, and this one is going to put in between here. So the first thing, if the number, so you're going to check with the operator, and you're going to put it here, and what we are checking is if num1, num2, number 2 that you are entering, is it a 0? So if it is a 0, then you are supposed to give out a statement. So you're going to supposed to tell the user, so you can say whatever message you want to put. So this then can be error. So and you can continue and tell him division by 0, division not allowed. So if the number 2 is 0, then the user is going to get this output, but if the number is not a 0, then division is going to take place. So if you click on this one and then you try maybe 25, you divide by 0, and then the operator is a 0, then now you can see that you are getting a message here. Then the other problem that may come is when you try, for example, when you click on this one and then you say like 2, then you have 1, and then you put a sign that is not either a plus, a minus, a multiplication, or a division. So when you put another sign that is there, you're going to get another error. Yes, it may not appear, but you see the answer is 0. So it means that there's a problem with our code. So you're going to try and capture that one. So what you're going to do, we are going to use the if block. So you're going to use the if block, and what we are checking is we are checking the sign. So we're going to go to operator, and we are going to start with not. Yes, and what we are going to do is we are going to use all. So this one. So what you are going to do is if not, meaning that if whatever you have entered is not, and then you're going to list all the operators that are supposed to use. If it is not one of them, then what should happen? So in this case, the first one you're going to do is you are going to check if the operator or the sign is not a subtraction, division. That is the first one. Then you go to operator again, we take all. If the operator is not, then we take another one, we put it here. We put it there. If a sign is not, or is not a plus, then we go back there, then we take another all, because we want the 4 of them to fit there. Sorry for that. So we pick this one. So this one you can click this one to reduce the size. So what you're going to check now is again, put it there, is a variable, this one sign, is it equals, then you're going to check is it times. So then the last one that you're going to check operator, and you're going to check is the sign equals to minus, this is equal to minus, and of course sign. So if you look at this block, what it's doing is checking if the operator that you have entered is not maybe a division, all a plus, all a multiplication, all a minus, and then you're going to pick this block, and then you're going to put the block here inside there, and we expect the user to get an input or an output. So you go to the look, and what you're going to do is that you're going to give the user some information. So you can say that sign not recognized, like that. Once you do that, if you try, let's click on this one, we write the first number is 200, then the next number like 2, and then you put an operator that is not there. So you're going sign not recognized, meaning that we have been able to capture those two errors that would have been there in our program. So once we do that, then we can go to another step, and then we want this one to repeat. Remember, calculator keeps on repeating, doing the sums. So we are going to go to control, and this block we are going to put it under the forever block. So you put it under the forever block, and now we can test. So you enter the first number, which will be 20 to 50, then you multiply by 5, then the sign is multiplication. Then you find that the program is so fast. So what you're going to do is you are going to set the time. So under the control, you're going to take this block, so you can start fast. You take this block, and then you're going to put the time here. So this one you can make it like 3 seconds, and then you click on this one, you enter the first number 25, then times maybe 5, you want to multiply, so you divide. So when you click on that, it's going to give you like 3 seconds where you can beep, and then you can continue. That is all for today. Remember to follow me on TikTok. Also remember to go to the YouTube, search for my YouTube channel, and then subscribe and keep on watching. Thank you for your time.